Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to another episode of a Stoked Podcast. Right now, we're my guest is having technical issues. Restream, y'all got to work this out. I'm not sure why it's working this way, but it seems to have a whole issue anytime. So y'all got to bear with me. Bear with us. Uh, give me. This is crazy. I swear it's like every third or fourth show. Every third or fourth show this does this. I think we got it worked out. I think we got it worked out. While he's getting settled, welcome. I'm so glad to see you all again after another day, after another week. Hope you've had a great week. I know there's a lot of things that happened this week, but I'm not going to get into some of those unless the guest wants to talk about it. Before I bring him in, just letting everybody know, reminding you, I'm gonna take these off so because the glare, because I can't see. Just reminding you guys, if you're in the Connecticut area, I will be at Terrificon this weekend, starting tomorrow. Come by, come get some good comics, come get some good prints. I got beautiful prints that y'all will love. But just stop by and say hi. Like I love talking to people. So I'll be at Terrificon, and then in 2 weeks I'll be at Fan Expo Boston. So yeah, as always, if you want to get anything that has to do with me and Visually Stoked, that's the website www.visuallystoked.com. Come on by, check out the website. All my podcasts are on there. You'll love them. All right, looks like we got a lot of people tonight. They here to see my guest, I guess. They here to see him. I don't know why. He never has anything good to say. See, I can say this stuff now because he can't say anything to me now. He's in the back room. So I'm going to take the opportunity to trash talk him. Nope, I'm just joking. He told me I had to come strong with the introduction. So I'm gonna do my best. So here we go, everybody. I'm not gonna hold him too long. Oh, for the record, I think Jamari is not available tonight. He's out there doing that work thing. Hopefully he is able to pop in. If not, I hope you guys will be okay with just me. It's not the first time. All right, here we go. I've known tonight's guest for quite some time. He's a husband, a father, and a pillar in his community. Former college football player, he's now turned entrepreneur with multiple endeavors, including his own company, Ignite Enterprise. In his spare time, he's a podcaster and has a community forum called Intellectual Foreplay that fosters a variety of important conversations about our times and culture. A photographer as well as a community leader and a content creator, he never fails to be either thought-provoking or controversial. Let's give a traditional Stoke Podcast round of applause for the one and only Trevor Ford. Did I bring you in? To quote Steve Harvey, did I bring you in? Man, I can't hear you. You got to turn your mic on or something, man. What's up? You muted. While he works on that, you got to, hold on. Let me see if you muted. Nope, you should be good here. So I don't know. It might be your mic. Might have to give permissions to the show. Let me. So I'm just gonna talk to. Nope, can't hear you. Oh, we got some people. Hey, what's going on? I don't know who Facebook user is, but what's going on? Can't hear you. You might have to give permissions to the computer for Restream to use your mic. I don't know, man. I might have to find a new platform for this podcast because too many shouldn't have this many people, having issues with it. All right, I'm gonna let him take care of that. Let me see if we can. He's here. He's here. But yeah, just letting you guys know real quick. I had a great time at Springfield Comic Con. What's up, Brad? I had a great time at Springfield Comic Con this past Saturday. This was apparently like their first try at it. They weren't sure what they were going to expect, and people showed out, man. There were tons of people there. They were literally wrapped around the building. So I had no idea what to expect, but man, they came through, man. They killed my the prints I was just talking about. Them prints were gone within the first hour, maybe the first 2 hours. The majority of my prints were gone within the first 2 hours. So they really showed out. Springfield really showed love, and I appreciate you. And I'm definitely going to do it next year if everything works out. So Trevor he's getting back in. Hey, what's going on, man? What's going on? James Jenkins, what's going on? I'm gonna have James on in the show too at one point. We're gonna work that out too. I know he wanted to jump in this, but I was trying to let Trevor get his shine. But yeah, like I said, I'll be at Terrificon. I've got here for those that I'll give y'all a sneak peek. This is one of my let me turn it this way. This is one of the prints that I have for sale. This is one of the more popular ones. They always go, especially for my black folk. They y'all kill this. Y'all take this one off my hands faster than I can put them down on the table. But I've got that print. I got Venom. I got Spider-Man. I got both Spider-Man, Peter and Miles. What else? I was working on a Storm one to have, but it just didn't work out. Just checking on Trevor to see how he's doing. But yeah, I'm gonna take this opportunity. If you guys have any questions for me about anything, my opinions on stuff. Oh, let me see if we got him back. Let's see if this works. Can't hear you, bro. Hold on. Let me see. Nope, can't hear you. You gotta turn your mic up. Turn it up. Put some treble in it. There we go.
All right.
What'd you do?
I don't know. You hear me now? You still good?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm talking about what did you do? Did you not have your mic on?
I don't know. I went to the settings, but we all good. They tried to. I don't believe in censorship. They tried to silence the boy because they heard I was coming. You know what I'm saying? Mark Zuckerberg was trying to block on me.
Ain't nobody silenced you, man. Welcome out. Was my introduction sufficient?
No, that was perfect, man. That was perfect. You hit it. You forgot to mention Super Bowl champion, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that later.
I can mention mine 6 times if you want to. So
I mean, you're only as good as your last.
If you would like to do that, we can do that.
You're only as good as your last. You're only as good as your last.
Our last was before your last. This was after your last. So, well, we're not talking about football today. Trevor. It's funny when a couple of days ago, I got one of those like memory things from Facebook where they post, oh, this is what you said like 2 years ago. And 2 years ago, I said, I'm going to do a podcast. I should do a podcast. I was like putting it out in the world, seeing how that would roll. Trevor was like the first person who was like, yo, let me jump on that show.
2 years ago, right? It took
2
a while.
years ago. Well, I didn't know what type of show I was going to do. Because I did my other podcast first.
Only 20 episodes later, but it's
hey, listen, man, you got here. Don't you know what they say? It don't matter how you get here or how long it take to get here, as long as you make it.
All right.
But yeah,
what you got? You got me in here blind and not knowing the topics, but it's all good.
There ain't no topics, man. We here. Yo, you the topic. That's the whole point. The point is to interview you, to get to know what you doing and more about your journey.
Shoot, man, I'm an open book.
All right. Oh, okay. All right. So, I'm doing things a little different today. Because a lot of the people I've had on, a lot of the my guests are generally like comic book folk or real like, super like graphic artists. And I know you're a photographer, but you got a bunch of different things in the fire, as they say. So what I'm gonna ask you, your first question is gonna be different. So yeah. I've never asked anybody this question before. since you always complain about that you ain't get on till now, you're gonna get the first question like this. Um, give me and everybody watching your vision of who you are and who you want to be going forward.
Who I am and what I want to be going for. All right. Well, first of all, it's kind of hard to box me in one little specific category. That's why my brand is called Ignite Enterprise. Our motto pretty much is we ignite ideas that truly last for years. So when you come to me, you have a brand, you have an idea, you have something you're trying to get off the ground. Let's just say your comic book business for you got heat, right? You have this idea, you're an excellent artist, but you don't really quite know how to get the business going. You don't really. I would come to you and say, hey, look, yo, you're a dope artist. You have a good following with your comic book series. What I want to do for you and what I think you should do is probably have a private reading. You know what I'm saying? Let's get a nightclub. Invite some of your immediate circle out and have you launch your comic series, have conversations about it, sell it, have roundtables and with other comic geeks, if you want to call them that.
Geeks, man.
I mean,
Comic fans. Can they be
comic fans.
fans?
Okay,
Can
there
I
we
be
go.
fans?
Geeked out. So you have like you start like a little intimate series like that. Pick a location, a small business, and maybe you just rotate businesses, and it's just a bunch of you kind of having like a little private reading. So I give business owners ideas. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard for me to kind of focus on one specific thing. That's a long story in that regard. But the bigger picture is I like to put a lot of different things under one umbrella. So Ignite, what is that? We do photography, we do event planning. I have the intellectual foreplay. I do marketing and consulting for other businesses. Some of my recent ventures, I'm partnering up with my guy Quentin McDougal, Nothing But Web. We always bounce ideas off each other. Um, we give each other referrals, a lot of business referrals. So I would say the next 5 years, I want to take the brand Ignite and kind of make it a little bit bigger with a centralized group of being photography, being my primary financial stream. Obviously, as a photographer and an artist, the goal with being an artist is to kind of always get better, right? You don't want to stay stagnant. Sometimes with photography, I still call myself a student of the business, student of the game, because I'm still learning. There's so much to learn about photography. There's a lot of dope artists in Connecticut that I kind of watch. I watch their growth and development. A lot of people kind of give me pointers, and I want to take my photography to a different level. I think kind of the box that people kind of put me in was just doing event photography, which I absolutely love because I like capturing candidates and capturing the moment and giving you product that you could actually see, the success of an event. As an event planner, I have no idea what happens at the event. I'm kind of dialed into the logistics, and I rely heavily on the pictures and the videos to kind of give a recap, kind of like Jubilee, right? The Juneteenth event I just had downtown Hartford. I couldn't tell you what happened at that event. I was so dialed in on getting people to their VIP, the tickets, and I don't know who was there. I don't know how it went. In my head, it was just terrible because I had a vision and I'm just running around scrambling. But when I look back at the videos and I go back to see the hashtags and the pictures and everybody looked great. Nobody complained. Nobody had a good time. And that's the kind of experience I want to provide, to individuals and clients that I kind of service. You know what I mean?
Okay. So it sounds like, oh, my bad. Go ahead. You weren't done.
I mean, Ignite is a big brand that has various departments on things I kind of want to accomplish. The final piece to Ignite is ignite your finances. So we're talking about investing, real estate. That's kind of like the final piece to securing the bag and get into the billions. Because I have products, I have a financial stream that kind of generates income. I have my network. I have my event series. I have the social media engagement. Now it's all right. Now, how do I move my photography money into investments? So I'm now we're talking longevity to the 5 year, 10 year plan you're talking about. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So that's the final piece to add to the umbrella of Ignite. To answer your question, a little long winded, but
No,
that's
you
the
good.
gist.
You good. Hey, man. Listen, man. That's what we're here for. We here to hear you and hear your dream and to hear you talk. This gonna be the only time I actually want to hear you talk. So you should
You're
take
gonna hear me
advantage of it.
regardless. Got to make sure the minister's in the picture.
So it sounds like Ignite is really like brand cultivation.
Right.
Does that is like a blurb the best way to
No,
kind of
I
like
mean, it's a ministry, and it kind of speaks to who I am. Like I'm just not one entity. You can't put me in one box because one, I'll get bored, and that's just not how my brain is set up. I'm an early riser. I wake up every day at 4:30 in the morning. I get ready. I get on the road, and on my way to work, it's like I'm watching the sun rise. As the sun is rising, my head is turning, and ideas are coming, and I write down everything. I have a proposal. I have a book of proposals, probably like 100 something proposals in there, and just a bunch of different ideas. Maybe I might not get to now, but I'll get to it later, or I'll give it to somebody else that might be ready to go. You know what I'm saying? So, um, I ignite. It's just like boom. Like I wake up and I'm just ready to go. I gotta think. I have to create, and that's kind of like the beautiful thing about photography is because when I get stagnant, I can pick up my camera and create images and create some kind of artistry. When I get bored entertainment wise, and everybody complains about Connecticut, right? Connecticut's so boring and there's nothing to do here. Well, I'm anti that. I'll find you something to do. I'll create opportunities for people to come out and have a good time. So those are the different things that I like to get into. And that's what Ignite is for the most part.
No, I feel you, man, this will be the only time I say it. No, I'm joking. Again, I'm proud of you for the endeavors that you started, man. If I've never said that to you, I know you always asking me to come to these events, and but I did come to one of them. I
You
did,
came once. You
I
came
did, I
once,
came once, but like
and
you
it was the free event.
but no, that's not even why though. It's like you be like, hey, I'm doing a party, like this big party, and all these people crammed in one area, and I'm still in COVID land, like,
Oh man, come on, man, live a little bit.
and my wife is definitely in COVID land, like, so that's why I haven't come to that, but I did the other one because that was more spread out, and I actually liked the message that was put forth for those that weren't there. Trevor did an event where he had many entrepreneurs, males, all in the building talking about different topics and things that concern us as men and how we deal with the community and how we deal with each other. And I like that. Like that's the type of stuff that I like to be a part of. Like I'll party every now and again, but I'm old, man. I don't be at parties no more. So I
Nah,
hate to tell you.
you're not old. You're just wise, man. Wise in your years.
Okay, I'm
But
wise
yeah,
and old. But that's
I,
the type, like I thought that was beautiful. Like to me, like the whole event, I came home and I talked to my wife about it, and I was like, man, that was real nice, man. And I was able to network, and I ended up having, like, I know, what's his name, Dre B Painting.
oh yeah, yeah, Dre. That
Yeah,
right there.
yeah, like
Dope,
I network, I made friends with him. He's actually going to be on the show next month. So,
dope guy.
yeah, so there's so many avenues that got opened just from that event, and I truly do enjoy the fact that you are saying, all right, okay, Connecticut, y'all keep complaining about not having something to do. Here is something to do. You either come out or stop complaining, one or the other.
Gotta
So
be one.
yeah, it's hard, man, because Connecticut does, especially Hartford. Hartford has a stigma of boredom.
Well, and it doesn't have to because there's so much dope culture in Hartford. There's a lot of dope people that's always got something going on. Like I'm literally never bored in Hartford because I'm dialed in. You have to be dialed in to whatever your thing is. The Jamaicans got their culture. The West Indian culture. There's the corporate black professional culture. You know what I'm saying? There's the Divine Nine, the Greek culture. There's the collegiate culture. And there's a little hood culture. Hood culture. Everybody has a little piece. You know what I'm saying? And there's things you can do if you want to do it. If you want to sit in the house, like there's no point for somebody that doesn't maximize Hartford to go to a bigger city where they just kind of get lost at. You know what I mean? And people think getting up, moving to Atlanta, New York, Cali, the South is gonna save your dry personality. Like you're gonna be bored out there too if you're not. You make the wrong turn in New York, you're gonna end up at the wrong bar. Every spot you go to these large cities in DC. I've been bored in DC before. I've been bored in Atlanta before. You just have to be dialed into what's going on. And if you're not dialed into me, you probably don't know what's going on. So I always got something going on. I'm always entertained. I always know where to go to eat. I always know where to go to hear live music. I always know where to go to hear poetry. If there's a party I want to go to that I know is my crowd, I know the people that's throwing a party. You just gotta do your due diligence, man. And if it's something you don't like, you do it yourself. You know what I'm saying? I know there's a big market for intellectual foreplay. People want me to bring it back again. There's a reason why I
Now I
haven't done
came to
it
that
again.
too. I came to
Yeah,
that too. I did.
you did. There's a reason I haven't done it again, but I think I have to resurrect that and kind of bring it back full circle.
Man, we might have to team up. We could do a Stoked podcast intellectually. Still put that joint
We
on the
can do
web.
that. We can do that.
Put that on. Do you have a website that people could go to see something? Because I don't. I didn't
Not
get
right
that.
now. I'm in the process of rebranding it. So
How
I
how
took it
have you
down.
not talked to me about that?
I mean, that's my boy. My boy does that. Nothing but web. Quentin, my
Oh,
dude,
okay,
he does.
okay. All right.
I didn't know you did websites. So how
Damn,
am I supposed
man.
to know that?
Cause you gotta go to my website, bro. I
Okay,
built
well,
that,
I didn't know
but
that.
I've always shared that kinship with you. Having so many different hats, photographer, social media content creator and everything. I got my, comic books, illustration, writing, yada yada yada. And it's funny, like I'm gonna go somewhere. I wasn't going here until I decided to do it just now. So
Mm-hmm.
this wasn't part of the script, y'all. You and
Well,
I
good.
have a mutual acquaintance who talks about entrepreneurship and how everybody should be doing it. And I always try. We both say to him like, "This life ain't for everybody,"
Ain't for everybody.
It's
Yeah.
not. And you tell me, because I can tell you mine, and I will after. But why do you feel like entrepreneurship isn't just like everybody can just step in and do it?
Well, because everybody is not creative. Everybody's not an administrator. Everybody's not a leader. Some people are in the rat race, literally. Like they're locked into, okay, I want to come make my home, make my bottom dollar. I need to know what I have. I need to know what's going coming in, going out. I have liabilities, meaning children. I have a mortgage. I got this car. I have a lifestyle I want to maintain, and a lot of people aren't edgy enough to figure out the day to day and just take that risk. I do believe that there is a business inside of everyone. I do believe that people should always aspire to create product and to figure out different ways to have multiple streams of income. That's extremely important. If nothing else, everybody can do real estate. Get your credit right, save your money up, and it's an opportunity for especially people of color to get into ownership and having things that we can call our own, and that can bring in a stream of income. You do one or two of those, and now you're rolling. But even that's not for everybody because people are irresponsible. Some people don't know what it takes to really manage a home, and again, that all just goes back to education and the things that the way you're grown, born, your education, your immediate peers, what they're doing. So running a business is not something that people should just kind of take lightly. Every social media creates a platform where everybody kind of jumps up. Oh, yeah, y'all suckers going to work, and I'll never have to do that, and blah blah blah. Yeah, but you also had a bad week business wise. Oh, it's also a recession. Oh, COVID hit, so your product is a little dry and a little different. And also, you don't have anybody that you're taking care of. You're single. You live by yourself. So if you just have to eat bologna and cheese for a week, then you can do that. Oh, also, you don't have employees. You're not paying nobody's insurance. Nobody's relying on your checks to come in. You know what I'm saying? So there's multiple levels to that. Everybody claims being a boss, but when them invoices start coming, what does that look like on the opposite end? And everybody honestly is not built for that. To an extent, I have a fear of that. That's why I'm locked in with the state. The state is my bread and butter, but the job I have affords me the opportunity to do so many other different things. So I use my job to fund my business so that my business can fund my freedom, my lifestyle. I think I saw a quote like something like that today. But yeah, if you are going to work and you are going to be dialed into the 9 to 5, don't be a sucker and just have this be your own stream of income, because if somebody takes that away from you, then what? I tell my wife that all the time. Like I have legit 5 streams of income, legit, that You know, I've been laid off before. I've been laid off 3 times, and I've never missed a bill. I never missed a beat. My checking and my money comes in just like that because I know the kind of man I am. I'm not a hustler, but I have a hustler's mentality. If there's a dollar out there, I know how to get it.
Right.
If there's movers and shakers out there that I network with, and I know that if I'm ever in a jam, I could work with them and team up with them, and we could work together on getting some coins up. If there's a dollar out there, I'm gonna find it. I do I do the snow removal. I do trash pickups. I don't put it out there like that because I don't have to because it'll just come because I'm a
Right.
network. You know what I'm saying? And so if people need dump runs, I do that. Snow removal, I do that. Photography, I do that. Event planning, I do that. What's that for? I got my job. I got the group home. Now what am I at 6 now?
Hey.
There's multiple ways you can earn a dollar out here, and there's no reason why people should be sitting at home thinking that they can't start a business or they can't develop a product because you absolutely can, but it isn't for everybody. I'm not going to shame somebody that's making $90,000 a year going to work with insurance and calling them a sucker when they're doing pretty good. Most people don't make
Probably
that much
doing better than
money.
you. Not you,
And
but
fact, but no fact, but doing better than most. People are we are. I think our medium in the black community is like 67 or something like that, and that's on the high end.
yeah.
Some people don't even see that their whole lifetime. You know what I'm saying? But I'll never question a man that gets up every day, works 9 to 5, punches in, punches out, goes home, and takes care of his family. You can never clown somebody like that.
Right. Like for me, and I've always said this. There's a couple things that I would say, and I agree with pretty much everything you just said. So I can't really go. I won't try to touch on that as much. For me, being an entrepreneur, it's a drive inside of you. Like it's that drive to create and market and sell something that you've created or a service that you have or service that you can do or like you have to have that drive within you. Like you said, some people don't. Some people are like, all right, I want to go home and I want to spend time with my family and I want to sit and chill and veg out in front of the couch because I worked a hard day's work. And you know what? Like I kind of envy those people. Like if I'm keeping it 100, I kind of envy the person who is just like, I've worked, I'm good, I made my money, my bills are paid. I'm just going to chill, sit back, watch the game, whatever. Because for
Right.
me, like I don't like working for other people. I love my job. I have, like you, I have a full-time job. I've said on more than one occasion on the show, I love my job. My job has been good to me. The people have been good to me. The company's been good to me. It has the flexibility that I need with my family and with everything around, especially with COVID and everything. I love my job. But
Right.
I like to be in charge. I like to run the
Oh,
show. And having visually stoked allows me to run my show. You know what I mean? Like I said, I got a Comic-Con this weekend. What I don't think anybody truly understands the amount of work that goes into securing the con, going to the con, setting up, selling for like what, 8 hours, 7 to 8 hours straight, 3 days straight, and then packing up and then doing it all over again in a couple weeks. Like I
right.
there's so much work that goes involved with entrepreneurship that a lot of people only see the highlights. They don't see the work. They don't see the grind. They don't see, me staying up till 2, 3 in the morning because I got to finish this comic book. They don't see,
Oh,
hassling with vendors and whatever, whatever, whatever. They don't see any of that. They just see the end point. And so,
mm-hmm.
there's so much involved. And I can totally understand somebody just going, okay, I want to try entrepreneurship. And then they get in the weeds and they're like, this ain't for me.
Yeah, it ain't. Yeah,
It
it
is
ain't for me.
not for
It's
everybody.
uncomfortable.
Now, yeah, it's
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 uncomfortable.
living in a state of being uncomfortable. You're constantly in a state of being uncomfortable unless you are a multi-billion-dollar entity, you are constantly living in a state of, all right, what's next? All right, what's the next thing on the list? What's the next thing on the list? What's the next thing I got to do? What's the next schedule? I mean, just doing this podcast alone, I had no idea the amount of work doing a weekly podcast took.
It's time.
It's
Time consuming.
right.
Relying on other people, coming up with content, editing the content, finding a streaming service that works decent, getting your equipment right, mics. Come on, man.
But it's even but you ain't even talked about marketing. You talked about
Marketing, building
scheduling
the audience.
guests.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's so much work. So to the people who are like, this ain't for me, hey, listen, I respect that. If I there are some days where I wish I did not have this entrepreneurial bone in my body, because I would love to just be able to chill on the couch and just like not have like four things in my brain that I got to do. The only time I chill on the couch is when football is on. And even then, I'm drawing. 9 times out of 10, I'm still doing some work. But yeah, like, so I always thought that conversation was interesting. One day we're gonna have the individual on and we're gonna have a real talk. And I might even, you know what, I just gave me an idea. We're gonna do a round table. We're gonna do a round table. I figured out what our round table is gonna be. It's gonna be an entrepreneurship. And I'm gonna bring you back on, and I'm gonna bring him on, and I'm gonna give him an opportunity to talk. But I'm also gonna bring on some other people who have, successful businesses. Because it's a conversation that needs to be had, especially in the African American community, where, like you said, there are a lot of people who are like, I just need my dollar, and I need to go to this place and do this thing where they will give me this dollar, and then I can go home, and then tomorrow I'll get up and do the same thing. And then there are other people that want to be entrepreneurs, and I want to give them the opportunity to kind of learn from our mistakes so that they can venture out. So we're gonna do that. You just gave me an idea. Thank you for that. Appreciate that.
Let's do it. I need 10% though.
10%. Oh, you can have 10% of zero. You can have 10% of zero. You want to check? You want to check? I can send it through PayPal. Come right now.
Send me that cash app. Send me that cash app.
I will cash app you $0 right now. Hold on. You ready? Trust me, I'm trying. I am trying to monetize this. I mean, but it's a difficult thing to monetize a podcast.
It's definitely difficult.
It is,
but
very hard.
You're on episode 26, so you just got to keep going.
Hey man, it's crazy. I'm on episode 26 of this one and 51, 52 of my other one. So, it's been a long road. But let's back to you. So, photography. Now, I remember when you really weren't doing photography, and then you just started doing it. So, where did the desire to start photography come from? And like, how has that journey been? Because there's a lot of photographers in Connecticut. I know a lot of them.
It happened on accident. All right. So, as you know, I do events, right? But I got tired of I got cheap. I got tired of paying people to do photography because I honestly didn't value pictures like that until I actually became the one holding the camera, and I see how much work there's. Weddings. If anybody's getting married, and you're talking about you have $1,000 budget for a photographer, just take the pictures your damn self, because doing weddings, birthdays, special occasions where you legit have to capture a moment, there's no redo. There's no, can you do that over? Can you kiss the bride again? And the energy that goes into editing and knowing what you're doing and finding the right light, making the right adjustment, it's nerve-wracking. So to answer your question, I bought my first camera, and it was just a regular Rebel, basic dad camera. Your dad your son is playing sports. You're going on family vacations. That's the kind of camera you want. Decent lens, decent flash. And I bought it. Probably spent about $1,000 on it. Decent camera. I told the guy what I was looking for. He said, "Yeah, this is kind of what you need. Start out big beginner." So I started doing Sigma events or whatever, little stuff just to do it. Post it on my social media page, and then somebody messaged me and said, "Hey, I need you to do my mom's birthday party. How much do you charge?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't do that, but I'll take the pictures. That's not a problem." He was like, "Yeah, no, if you're gonna do it, I'm gonna pay you. How much do you charge?" I said, "I have no idea. I've never done this before. I'll come take the pictures. If you like them, you can send a donation." She refused, and she set my own budget. Told me how much I'm worth.
I'm disappointed in you,
I
Trevor. What
went. I
is
took.
that?
I don't. Hear me out. For everybody watching, I will never accept money on something that I'm not a subject matter expert on. So again, and entrepreneurs take note of that. If you're not efficient at what you do, don't charge because you're not good enough to charge. You have to stand on your product. Hear me
I'm
out
gonna
when I say
disagree
that.
with you on that though.
Hear me out when I say that. In the arts, like photography, like I refuse to even be called a photographer for a period of time until I got, certain credentials and did some certain studies and took certain courses and, got mentoring from certain people. And then I had to get comfortable with saying, okay, yeah, like I'm getting better at this. So that's when I started setting a certain price point and feeling comfortable charging a certain thing. But in the beginning, it was nerve wracking. Like you can't you can't go on Wix.com. I see my boy Quentin comment and throw a couple websites together and then think people gonna start paying you for a service that you're not a subject matter expert on. So I did a lot of like small projects in photography where again I was just doing events for people. Um, I'm talking like crackhead prices, $100 for a 4 or 5 hour event because again I just didn't feel comfortable charging an hourly rate. I am now. I'm $100 an hour now because I'm gonna bust
It's
that
all
thing
right.
down. You can get some bomb edits. You're gonna get the whole. It's gonna be beautiful pictures. You know what I'm saying? But in the beginning, this girl, like, shout out to her. She kind of got me rolling, and then I was like, dang, people really believe me in me more than I believe in myself with this. So if I'm gonna start taking photos, I need to get legit, and I need to, take it seriously. So I got a couple mentors. Shout out to Leslie Gomez. She was one of my first teachers. I took a couple of her courses. Anytime I have a question to this day, she'll take me on her wing. She'll send me clients because she's kind of in a different space with photography. So she doesn't do certain things anymore. So anybody that comes to her, she'll kind of forward me that business, which is honestly dope. Really, you don't ever see me promote my photography on Facebook, right? Like it's very rare. You'll see I'm like soliciting because I don't have to because I just have the space and the network of people that it's referral based. So I grow like that, and then one day I wanted a new camera. I said, it's time. I got to get in a better space where, people are like calling me for weddings. And I'm like, yeah, I never did a wedding before, lady. They was like, yeah, that's fine. I seen your pictures on Facebook. All I need is blah, blah, blah. So it's just kind of like, yeah, well, I don't really do that, but I'll try. and people give me a chance. And, so my $300, which is stupid, but it was something I just had to do, and they end up liking the pictures. But I got another camera, um, and then I think it was last year or the year before. It was probably 2 years ago. I said, okay, I'm really about to take this serious. I want to move into portraits. I want to start capturing people. I want to start capturing the beauty of people. So I launched my first project, Big Hair, and I invited some women, some peers in my circle, to allow me to take pictures of their hair. Black women, big curly hair, that type of movement, and it was dope, man. I was learning how to do lighting, and I bought some equipment, and these women allowed me to kind of just capture, them. I posted a picture. That joint blew up all over social media. When I say blew up in the context that a lot of people started booking me for portrait sessions. So I started graduating into a different light. Shout out to my boy Hector. Hector also is one of my mentors in the photography game. He gave me a lot of tips. He gave me some backdrops, tips on lighting. He never held my hand. He like hazed me for like, well, what do you think you should do with the light? It's just not just answer the question, bro. Like, well, I'm not gonna tell you the answer. If you know Hector, you just know Hector. Like, what do you think the
Yeah,
setting? If
we've met.
you're not, it's like, all right, man, dang. But I appreciate it because it makes
Shout
me
out
learn.
Hector, man.
Um, I did my next project, and because every month I wanted to do a project. My next project was Black Queen. So probably about 10 girls, studio lighting. Um, I had a different theme. My homegirl Patrice. There we go. That's one. So she just came for a birthday shoot, right? This young lady. She was 13 years old, right? And I said, listen, I just did your birthday pictures, but help me because I need I'm working on this project. And she's like, yeah, sure, whatever. Her mom was cool with it. So, I had a crown. This is, me capturing different lighting. We had a pregnancy shoot right there. But I had a bunch of women come through with a certain specific theme and they nailed it. They were all beautiful. The pictures came out great. And again, that kind of progressed it. So when I break my calendar up, now it's like, okay, I could do seasonal marketing where I have a series of projects. Then I could do graduation photos. I could do Mother's Day photo shoots, Father's Day photo shoots. Maternity is something that I was petrified of doing because I was just scared to do it.
No,
One of
I
my
got you.
coworkers,
I understand.
yeah, one of my coworkers was pregnant, and I told her, I said, hey, look, do you mind if I practice? And she was like, heck yeah, sure, I don't care. And she was one of the first to come over, and then I said, oh, I can do this. Like I feel like I got the good eye. I have an imagination how I can set people up. I did the first shoot in my backyard. It snowed. She was crazy enough to go outside in the snow
I feel
with
like
her
I
fiance.
saw those pictures.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's a Hispanic Asian woman. It was right outside of my backyard, literally a foot of snow on the ground. She walks in the snow, and I used the trees with the snow in the tree. It was just a great shot. And then people say, "Oh, I didn't know you did maternity shoots," and I'm like, "I don't."
Nah, man,
But
you gotta learn to say yes, man. What are you
I'm
doing?
I'm here now. I'm there now.
Oh, okay, I was
I'm
gonna
there
say.
now.
I,
We got
I
we
hope
got
you're
price
not
points.
still saying no.
Back then, it was if I'd never done it before, I will never charge you. If you want to give me a donation, cool. But
See,
if
but
it's
that's what I'm
my
saying. Like, I
first time,
disagree with you on that because, like, I've
I
had people come to me and they're like, "Yo, I want to do a tattoo. I want you to do a tattoo," and I'll be like, "Okay, what you want for the tattoo?" And then they'll give me the idea. I had never done a tattoo before in my life,
but
not
you
on
can draw,
tattoos,
but you're a
but
professional
yeah, but
artist. You can
it's a
draw.
skill just like anything else.
I hear you. I
And
hear you.
so what I would do is I'd be like, okay, bet this is what I charge for illustration. And then I kind of in my mind I go, okay, well, I'll charge a little less. And then I'll be like, what I'll do is I'll give you 3 designs. If you like those designs, one of those designs will go forward. And then that's how I do it. But like I rarely say no unless I have absolutely no idea and no inclination on doing it. Like I That's what I'm saying. Like you got to have that reckless, like
You
confidence.
are 100% correct. My friend, one of my best friends, Mazara, I love her to death. She's a cosmetologist. She tells me that all the time. Like, stop doing stuff for free, blah blah blah. But that's just me and my
Nah, I got you.
personality and kind of how I handle it. If I've literally never done a specific type of shoot, I'm just gonna be like, yo, let's just do it. If you like it, throw me something. If not, just chalk it up to the experience. But
Because
there
my,
have
my my
been.
mind has always been they saw something that you did that drew them to you. So if they liked something else, then they already have the confidence in you to do whatever it is. So even if you haven't done the shoot before, you're like I know you're I'm gonna make it work guy. Like that
Yeah.
should be your mentality. I'm gonna make it
Oh, it
work.
is. It is
I
now.
know it is now, but that's what I'm talking
It
to
is.
everybody. I'm talking to everybody else. I'm talking to somebody else who might think like you right now.
And that goes back to that entrepreneurial spirit about, oh, this it's not for everybody,
No,
because
no.
there's gonna be times where you'll have a product and now your product's sitting on the shelf because it's dated. People lost interest. You got to figure out a way to revamp your business, and if you don't have that drive or that hustle to kind of stay up and think outside the box and how you can make something work in the moment, you got to be able to adapt. So again, I've been on shoots where in the middle of a wedding I couldn't figure out why my strobe light was just somebody else was triggering it, but there was another cameraman there, and
Oh,
to my knowledge, I didn't think that was possible. So another guy was a completely different photographer, was just in another corner, just taking pictures, but it was triggering my lamp, and it was driving me. I'm getting white all over my pictures, and I'm just not in the right spot. I couldn't figure it out, and I'm missing moments, and I had to like, okay, let me just unplug this damn lamp and just kind of figure things out and make the adjustment later. Then I had to find out, oh, this guy was freaking tapping into my signal, capturing picture, triggering my lamp. And that was freaking me out. That was freaking me out because that's a wedding, and you can't screw those up. And I'm looking at the pictures and I'm just mad and insecure. Wife is like, Trev, like the pictures are perfect. They're fine. Like, relax. But when you're an artist, you have a certain eye, and it's like you don't see that it's blurry in this corner and all that the sun and the blah blah blah. And I gave her the pictures. The girl broke down crying. She loved the pictures. So
yeah,
I'm way harder on myself.
That's an artist thing, man. I tell people all the time, my first book, my first comic, I don't read it, I don't open it unless I absolutely need to, because I see old art, Javon. Like, I am so much better as a comic book artist in general. So much better.
I have to archive a lot of my photos on Instagram that pop up because it's like, oh my God, this is terrible. Like, what am I doing? I deleted all of them.
But what's crazy for me is I have to sell that. Like, my book, like I don't look at it today. And when people open it up, they're like, wow, this is really good. And I'm sitting there like, yeah, it is. Yeah. And in my mind, I'm like, but the new stuff is so much better. But to somebody, it's this thing, because every artist has the vision of what they have in their head, and it doesn't always translate out,
Yeah.
Oh, we got cousin in the building. He made it. We gonna bring him in. Welcome, Jamari.
So you guys are having a critical artist moment right now.
Yeah, we're doing critical art theory. Avert your eyes for people who don't like it. But yeah, but it's just this thing we're always chasing. And I've learned this a long time. My mom actually was the one that really talked to me about it. Was like, we're always chasing the perfect mental image of what we were trying to do. And we will never get it, but we can get as close as we can to it. And it's crazy. Like, I asked about the photography thing because I'm always interested. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm very interested in doing photography. But I see the amount of work that goes into it. And just like you said, like, if you miss that perfect shot, like, I can't even imagine missing that shot, because I can't even do it. Like, so I would love to get into it, but I know the amount of work that goes into it.
You just gotta pick a camera, pick it up, and then
I was this close. No, there was a Nikon I was gonna pick up.
Just do it. I mean, I'm a Canon guy, but Nikon is a dope product too. You get the camera, you go for a walk, clear your head, and you take pictures of whatever you want to take pictures of. I haven't gotten into landscape pictures yet, but every time I do it, I nail it every time. I got the New Haven skyline when I was in New Hampshire. I was on top of this mountain, beautiful scenery. I was in North Carolina one time. The sky literally turned purple. That was the first image that I started selling.
Okay,
I can show you that, but
you should be doing these Comic-Cons, man. No, I'm dead serious. Like, I'm not even joking with you. Like,
once I get some more of my landscaping product, because I realize people like that stuff, and I'll put like,
but not just the landscaping. Like, I'm gonna tell you, you can make some money. You go to these Comic-Cons and you set your booth up and you let these cosplay people come by.
Absolutely,
bruh,
absolutely,
bruh. And you bring a printer with you. You bring a printer and you could just do quick pictures. Man, I'm trying to give you money right now.
Not only that, you will have people, once they start seeing your work, and once they will be trying to book sessions where they can sit in the studio with you.
I had people behind me at the last con that I was in Springfield, and they were doing pictures. Plus, they had that little video thing that you stand in the middle.
The 360.
Yeah, the 360 thing. They were killing it. That's just free advice right there. I want my, but I
know you're right.
I do want my 5% though. I do want my 5%.
I be thinking about growth all the time, and one of my downfalls, just as a person, as an entrepreneur, is like I'll talk myself off the ledge. I low key have a little small little smidget of fear of like ultimate success or like maximizing what I'm capable of doing, if that makes sense. That's just kind of so. What I'll do is kind of like to kind of avoid it. I'll jump to something else. You know what I'm saying? To kind of all right. Well, I got really good at this, but you know what? I was driving the other day and I feel like I want to try this. You know what I'm saying? So it's a constant war to kind of stay focused on
Yeah.
the income, but photography being the mainstream income for Ignite, I focus so much more on that, and I kind of didn't put a cap on it, but there's certain lanes I know I want to be in prior to taking a certain step. Because remember, I told you in photography, especially, I think you got to put in your hours. That 10,000 hours thing that's a real deal, and you have to respect the artistry behind it. It's deeper than just taking pictures and snapping it up. But you have to really understand how you did that, so that
Yeah.
when somebody asks for that, you can do it again. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No, you
Man,
100% on that, man.
Considering how you
so,
got into photography, I was listening to this on the way in. Do you think that
mhm.
feeling is a form of imposter syndrome in some way?
No, I think it has a lot to do with just how I'm wired. I've always been that way, and I know where I get it from. I get it from my mother. It's also, I'm not gonna go down no dark road or nothing like that, but it's also something I probably need therapy on, just because I use opportunities, events, creativity as a way to kind of keep my mind going and keep busy. I can't sit still, but I can't not do nothing. Like if I work every day of the week, Sunday to Sunday. If I'm home on a Saturday and it's 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, I don't know what civilians do. Like I have to be involved with something, and I never have a moment to kind of just you know reboot and retool. Um, so I want to call it
That's super
imposter.
important, man. That's super important, man.
I think with me it's just I have to get out of my own way and embrace success. Like really, truly wrap my arms around myself and say, "Yo, you are super dope. You're not average. You're a way above average. You know you are. If you put yourself in a room with some brains, people with money, they're gonna be looking at you like, yo, that's I need you because you're gonna make what I got better. You know what I'm saying? And once I embrace that and really get out of my own way, get the therapy that I need to kind of focus on the things that I should be called to do, I'll be all right. I'll be all right.
It's funny you said that. Like, I was like that.
No, no, that's not healthy. Whoever said that, is
No,
that
it's
even
not
healthy?
healthy. I was doing that for quite a bit prior to my son being born.
Mm,
I was like work on work, I would do my job and then I would come home and then I would work, and then Saturdays I go to church on Saturdays, but I would go to church on Saturdays and I'd come home and I'd try and get some work in. And then I would Sunday, like I said, when the football game is on, I'm usually at my table drawing while I'm watching the game. Like I was like that. And I burned
mm,
out
yeah.
when my son was born, because then I had to use some time for him. And so like I'll never forget, like I had I tell this story before, but I had a Comic-Con, I think it was, I want to say Terrificon, it was Terrificon coming up, and I had to get this book ready like the week before, and it was 2 days before my birthday. And I legit uh oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Hold on. I'm gonna
Yeah.
get it on the show. Just give me a second. But I'm gonna keep talking. Um, I legit worked like all nighters. So for like 2 days straight, I was working on the comic book, like no sleep, like no sleep. And so by the time I finished, it was on my birthday. And I was like, okay, cool. It's my birthday. I'm gonna do something. I was like, let me go get some Chick-fil-A first. And I went to Chick-fil-A, and I sat down to eat my food. I put my head against the wall, and I slept for like 20 minutes. And like my body legitimately burned out. And so I
Mm,
legit I realized at that point that I couldn't do that anymore. As much as I was about that hustle, like my body was like, look, dude, you can hustle all you want, but I'm gonna stop. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then you talking about the feeling like you're almost afraid of ultimate success. I'm with you, like right there. Like we talk about heat. There was a moment where I was burned out from heat, and that's why I went and did strong. But then I watched a documentary on Todd McFarlane, and he was like, "Look, man, you got to pick one thing and make that great before you can go do 50, 11 other things, because then
Yeah.
everything becomes like mediocre. Like it can become mediocre very quickly when you spread everything out." But yeah, man. Hold on. Let me. Before I go to the next topic, we're gonna put this landscape up. That's beautiful. I might have to buy that print from you. Put it in my man cave.
No doubt.
That is beautiful. All right, so I'm glad we were able to get into the photography thing. Let's talk about intellectual foreplay. Because we got to know a bit about your business. Now we're gonna talk a little bit about you. And I'm pretty sure it's going to go some interesting places. Tell me about, so for those people that don't know, intellectual foreplay, as I said before during the introduction, Trevor has these events where he gets people together and talk about the culture and talk about any particular issue that is going on at the time. What are a couple of your favorite debates that went on during any of your intellectual foreplay events?
All right, so I developed a series, kind of stemmed. The jargon is biblical terms. So the very first one, was based off a poem and a blog that I wrote. It was called, oh my God, what was it called? What came from that was Adam, Where Art Thou? And then What About Eve? But the first one, oh my God, what was the name of it? I love him because I hate myself. That was the first blog and poem that I wrote.
Okay.
And basically talked. It basically came from a perspective where a woman wraps her love and emotions and everything she has to offer around men that don't really deserve it, and it had a lot to do with how she felt about herself, how she was raised, and the fact that she has so much low self esteem and doesn't really value herself as a person, but she prides herself on giving her all to someone else. And it basically came from a place of accountability. So a lot of my blogs in my early years were pretty aggressive towards women. I have since matured, and I'm in a way different space. So a lot of the stuff I was reading back then, it was kind of wild. And I have apologized to a lot of people if I've offended or hurt anybody's feelings with some of my pieces. But Facebook has a way of reminding you of about growth,
Yeah, it
right?
does.
So a lot of my ideals. So I tell you that as soon as my daughter was born, I was a new man. Like a lot of my thoughts, opinions, kind of have changed, and a lot of my events in the early stages of development got pretty intense. With you'll have a feminist guy, and they'll just trade in insults, or they're trading um, just loud noise because everybody's standing tall in their position and nobody's hearing each other. But I got off on that because that's what I liked. I like controversial content. Uh,
Yes, you do.
in the space that I'm in now, I don't really like to do things that are divisive. I don't like having divisive conversations. I'm all about peace and enjoying company, good company, but also standing tall on things you believe in and having open, honest kind of conversations about it. But listening, if I don't necessarily agree, what's the biggest top abortion has been like a big, topic that has been going back and forth in the black community, and with that what that meant and how that's related to Brittany Greer or whatever. Just a bunch of different conversations that stem off of each other that Black folks just go bounce around. And I listen a lot more than I have in the past. And to answer your question, there were some individuals at these events that come. Some play devil's advocate. Some are there to antagonize to keep the conversation spicy. But I think what hit home for me was the fact that women I cared about were kind of concerned, and they took a position that I genuinely felt how I felt by the content that I was creating. Does that make sense? Like if I pose a question,
Yeah.
if I pose a controversial question, or I make a statement in response to something that was posted as a character, as somebody just driving conversation, they really felt like I felt like that. And a lot of their responses would be like, the wildest thing somebody said to me was, well, and this was about a rape conversation. Well, you have daughters. What if they get raped? And it's just like, whoa, why are we putting that type of energy out here to paint a picture or to paint some kind of point you're trying to make in regards to this conversation? I'm not even going to hear you. I'm going to get into a defensive mode because now you're talking about my kids, and that's just a different conversation. But it wasn't until the full maturation of myself where I realized that I'm held to a different standard to certain people, and I had to be careful how I align some of my personal opinions, just because it's divisive. And if the goal for intellectual foreplay ultimately is for men and women to be in an intimate space, judgment-free, where we could, trade ideas and bounce things off each other, but we have to walk away with something, right? It can't just be we just went to war, but there's no common goal being met. So the next series I did was, okay, ladies, you're right. Adam, where art thou? We got to talk to the men. Like, ladies, you can come to this forum, and all I want you to do is listen to the panel of men as we dissect different conversations, right? I don't want you to ask questions yet. I just want you to hear and listen. As we're gonna hit on fatherhood. We're gonna hit on how we treat women. We're gonna hit on racism, systematic racism, how that plays a role in how we're developed. We're gonna hit on education. But all we're asking you to do right now is to just listen. That didn't work. Of course, there's always a couple that just have to, be in the moment and can never just take the bars coming. I said, okay, this is a space where we're going to hold men accountable, but ladies, you kind of just got to sit this one out. But you're present, so your presence can be felt. And I gave the women the men the same opportunity, and it was a complete opposite. Men came and showed up and didn't ask one question. They just listened to the women talk and to kind of lay out feminism and what that means and their support on different points of view where we differ. The objective for both of those forums, Adam, where art thou, and what about Eve, were for two bodies to come together and just listen. Like, you don't have to go to war with each other. Just listen. One group got it, the other group kind of didn't, and we brought it all back together in a final forum to kind of continue to piece the conversation together. But intellectual foreplay to me is dope. It's a representation of the community. It's not something that is a stiff conversation. Like, you have your corporate brothers, you have your barbershop brothers, you have your athletes, you have your hood brothers, you have, the single father brothers, you have the quote unquote player brother that don't want nothing to do with marriage, don't even believe it. You got different kind of guys and different kind of women with far left, far right ideals all in one place, kind of with the intent to kind of just hear that the world isn't so black and white. And there's a whole bunch of different people with different ideas that we kind of have to either embrace, I didn't say accept, but just embrace the fact that people are different. My stance in today's age is I'm going to have an opinion, right? I'm going to have I'm 10 toes down on how I feel about something, but that is concerning my household. Just because I believe this way doesn't mean people shouldn't be allowed to feel a certain way, live a certain way, be a certain way. On the same side, I also don't feel like just because you believe that, I have to adapt to your philosophy just to make you comfortable either. Like that's kind of like where a lot of comedians say it brilliantly. You got Bill Burr, you got Chris Rock, you got Dave Chappelle. I think those three master the art of controversy in a way that people can kind of get it, laugh about it, but it's like, damn, you said some real stuff. Why can't people just get it like that? You know, but comedy has that ability to kind of make people loosen up during some difficult conversations, whereas social media is just like a time to engage in war for the most part, and you throw people back.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this before, and I'll say this, and then Jamari, you can chip, if you want to chip in, wrong word, whatever. I posted this, man, maybe 2 weeks ago, that the art of like debate is lost. Like, I don't think a lot of people know how to debate. Like, people know how to argue, but people don't know how to like debate. And it's funny. Like I said, somebody said I like to argue on Facebook, and I talked about this on Top 5 today, Tuesday, that people say I like to argue, and I know a lot of my friends think I like to argue. You think I like to argue, but like, no, you do. There are a lot of people that do.
No, you like to engage in conversation.
But for me, like arguing implies emotion, right? Like if it'd be like, I'm trying to think of an example. If you said to me, your mom is a terrible person and da 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 da. Now, unless I'm fighting, I'm we arguing, like there's an emotional component where I don't really give a damn what you say. I'm just saying what I'm saying. Like, you can go to hell, blah, 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 blah. But like a debate for me is I can debate with you all day long. If you're respectful and I'm respectful, we can debate. We can even come to the conclusion that we're just not going to agree, or we can come to a compromise or whatever. But to me, there's no emotional component involved. And that's why, and I use the example of our mutual friend, where I can debate with him to a point, and then he kind of steps over that line where it's not a debate anymore, and it's more like trolling. And to me, once you start trolling, you're no longer debating. You're trying to elicit a reaction from somebody. Right. And so but that, I love, like you said, I love conversation. I love debate. I love, hearing people's opinions when people bring facts or whatever. I don't like, and people antagonizing each other. I don't really do that. Like, if you see something like that, I usually back out and I'll be like, all right, I'm done. But I can debate with you. Like, you and I have had debates before. And not one time have I stepped over the line to be like, say something rude to you. You know what I mean? Like, we've never argued. We've debated.
Even social media just shouldn't be for everybody. and certain, like it just shouldn't. Like, certain people would just be better off not logging on, because part of our problem is we just have too much access to the world, and social media gives people that probably should just keep their mouth shut an opportunity to say whatever they want. And in this generation, you can't just say whatever you want, because the moment you hit post, a person like me, I'm gonna comment, and like you said, I lead emotionless, and I've lost some pretty good friends recently. And it's kind of weird that happened, but God don't make mistakes in that regard. But I, like you, I can have a conversation about anything, and not you can put me in a room with a chat full of racists. You are 100% not gonna outbar me. I'm gonna make the most sense, and I'm gonna walk away knowing that I won the argument. You can call me whatever name you want. It's not gonna do anything to me, because it's over the internet. Like, who cares? Like, you're not really about that life anyway in real life if you're arguing like that over the internet. But I like to talk about real stuff in the moment. Certain conversations I avoid now, just because, one, my career, two, people just take things and they can't talk about things like rape and They can't talk about abortions and racism and even dating, little as simple as dating, without getting emotionally vested and making it their personal about their personal experiences. So certain conversations for sure I stay away from, like the Britney situation. I didn't want nothing to do with that because I know how people were gonna take the conversation and just kind of get weird about it. But I did have an opinion about it, but I just kind of kept it to myself.
Oh yeah, those opinions. I keep me and Jamari. We talk about everything on the phone, but y'all ain't never gonna hear some of that.
Yeah, because you can't because people will take what you say out of context, so they'll copy it, and then next thing you know, who I am in the community, I got to just be careful about that. Or even as a professional, I didn't say this, but I'm a judicial marshal for the state. So that also has a lot to do with my maturity by default, because I just can't say whatever I want, especially with issues in law enforcement, like the George Floyd situation. I tread carefully. Excuse me, I tread carefully there. Next thing you know, some reporter, Judicial Marshal Ford, a member of law enforcement, says that the police were out of line, and I have to be careful in that regard. Now I'm coaching kids. Oh, the coach doesn't believe when women should get paid in WNBA and stupid stuff like that. I just don't. I'm careful about what I put out there on social media, and more people should be, just because of how it's used now. Places like Intellectual Foreplay offer that safe space for us to, kind of have that conversation, get a little edgy but respectful, and the goal for the next one absolutely should be a healing session. I think I want to call that, where men and women that have a desire to understand each other, have a desire to listen, and to kind of walk away. Dang, I ain't never really think about it like that. Like I want to do better. I don't want to bring people that are just hardened in their position, not willing, like ready to stand on, man, we the prize. You know what I'm saying? Y'all women got to fall in line because I'm the one with the degree and I ain't got no kids and I got a house, and you got to have an opportunity for people to listen. And I think the world would be a better place if we all listen, got some understanding, but at the same time, draw a line in the sand. I think that's a place where we kind of get a little weak at. Like take a position on something. I'm not one of those people that believe that everything is okay. I think this is a generation where it's just like, well, just because I can do it means it's okay. Like, no, everything is just not okay. The things that we consider that make us, like somebody pulled one of my good friends, chase happiness people. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, no, don't do that, because happiness is toxic sometimes. And you have to be careful about, I love nachos. I love pizza. Pizza makes me happy. If I eat too much of it, I'm going to have high cholesterol. I'm going to get fat. Sometimes in life, you have to talk about
but
things you don't want to do.
Actually, that's different.
Hear me out. When people talk about happiness in this generation, it's usually because they don't want a difficult situation. If you're in a relationship, if you're not happy and blah, 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 leave the relationship. And it's like, no, don't do that. Work through your issue, because everything literally in life is going to have obstacles. Everything literally is going to have a freaking, a bump in the road. Nothing's going to be magically delicious every time on the other side.
But I don't think that's what generation. I don't think that's what they're inferring, though. I think when they say chase happiness,
that is what they're inferring.
What was that? Let me ask that question. When you engage with them, was that what they were saying?
I think when I hear people say your focus and priority in life is to be happy, what I'm hearing is majority of the time it's just like people get uncomfortable in a tight situation. I'm not saying take anybody's abuse. I'm not saying put yourself at any harms or anything that in that regard. But what I am saying is that there's literally nothing about life, nothing that is not going to have this is annoying or I'm frustrated or a difficult obstacle. Nothing.
Yeah, and but that's the moment having a child. Saying, that's different though.
I mean, but it's be happy. So,
but there's happiness. There's like a mentality Like when they say chase happiness, like if you said that to me, chase happiness, I'm chasing the mentality that yes, that other things in the world, like you said, things can be annoying. You can have your marriage be frustrating or your job be frustrating, but I'm happy within me and being happy. And so that affects how I deal with everything else. Like when you talk about
That's different.
nachos and pizza and everything, that's pleasure. To me, that's two different things.
But that's happened. But that's not how people convey the message. And people and my point is, people have to be careful with how they communicate what happiness really is, because
Okay.
I had to tell somebody, like, sometimes people get off doing evil things to people that makes them happy. You know what I'm saying? People can be extremely selfish, and in that selfishness, the outcome of whatever happens can make them happy. Today, I'm a father. I'm a father every day, right? Being a dad is great, right? We all love it. And give me the tie, give me the paper hand on the paper plate for Father's Day, all the good stuff, right? But there are times where being a dad is very stressful. It's easily one of the most difficult things I've ever had to deal with in my life.
But that doesn't mean that you're not happy that you're a father, though.
That is fact.
But
However,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There are times where I am unhappy as a man because of my fatherhood responsibilities. And that's okay, because you have to do what you have to do for a greater good. That's just a life fact.
Yeah, but being happy that you're a father, but that's what I'm saying. The happiness involved in being a father, it allows you to deal with that unhappiness, or I wouldn't even use the word unhappiness, like the uncomfortable part of being
the duty of being a father.
Right, the duty of being a father. Because there's the happiness in being a father, and then there's the duty. I'm just using this example. There's happy, and then there's duty.
You're smart enough to grasp that understanding. And if it's not communicated or articulated like that to the greater good of people are going to take that chase happiness as evading your responsibility at the expense of being happy. That is my point.
So that's a level of maturity. Because it sounds, perhaps would you amend that statement, chase happiness? Would you amend that with chase fulfillment? Because there is a difference between fulfillment and happiness.
I think and this is my personal opinion about men, right? A man has to have a purpose.
Correct.
He has to be chasing a level of responsibility in my opinion, to achieve 100% maturation into manhood. And what is the responsibility of a man? I don't necessarily want to think it's happiness per se, but the things that you're supposed to be doing can be centered around and motivated by happiness, because I think we have an obligation to take care of our families. We have an obligation to take care of ourselves. We have an obligation to take care of and serve our communities and do a whole bunch of things that we necessarily might not want to do. And it's annoying and it's stressful and it makes you angry sometimes. But at the same, like, for example, I'll give you a perfect example of what I mean. I love planning events, right? I hate planning events. Get my point? Yeah. I love planning events, but I hate planning events. It does not make me happy.
But that's no. I got no. But
hear me out.
You're talking about, but see, this is what I'm saying. You are going against what you said earlier, though, because you're talking about. See, there's the goal, and then there's the journey. Mm-hmm. We can agree on that, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So the goal is do an event because that's part of my purpose. Thank you. That's part of my purpose. Now, your purpose, if your purpose doesn't bring you happiness, you got to find a new purpose.
It does.
Okay. But understanding that nothing, and this is my favorite. This is my favorite saying. I say this all the time. There's no success without struggle. So you
Can
can't.
we comment on that real quick?
Go ahead.
The no success without struggle, and this is exactly where my point is. It's the struggle that people abandon.
No, I agree with you in
happiness.
that. I'm not disagreeing.
So,
I'm not disagreeing
okay.
with you, but I'm talking about the phrase in and of itself, right?
Yeah.
Because you can take a phrase and misinterpret it. Everybody does it all the time.
Yeah.
But the general phrase of finding happiness, like Jamari said, you can use the word fulfillment. You can chase your goal. You can. They're all the same thing to me. Like they're all providing you a sense of fulfillment and at ease and happiness that propels you to go forward in life in a better mind frame. Like I'll give you an example. Visually Stoked Media is my happiness. It has always been my happiness, even when it wasn't called Visually Stoked Media. Like you, some days I don't like doing comic books. Absolutely don't like doing. Sometimes I don't want to sit behind a table and draw.
Mm-hmm.
But I know what the goal is. And the goal, once the comic is done, it reinforces that happiness. And I understand that there's a struggle involved with it. I understand the struggle and the emotions that are a part of the struggle. That's just emotions. Happiness to me is a state of mind. It's not, I mean, like there's pleasure, things that bring you joy. Right? Things that bring you joy. Watching a football game brings you joy. If you win or lose, whatever, but it brings you joy.
I would say
like I'm sorry, go ahead.
I would say happiness ultimately, or at least the emotion of happiness, is ultimately fleeting, which is why that is so important, what you said, Trevor, about purpose. Purpose and fulfillment are things that are long lasting. They are something that stick with you, and happiness, that feeling of happiness, is fleeting. It's in that moment. It's you taking pictures, you catching those moments of people. Those are moments of happiness. They can't be something. They can't be. You can't make happiness stretch out for an entire lifetime. It's impossible because you can't keep that feeling, that dopamine that hits you in the brain. And I think that would be the thing that in the statement that you're dealing with. What's deeper to look at is the idea of understanding that actual part of happiness itself, is that it cannot be something you can sustain all the time. So that chasing happiness, that is the toxic part of it. Not understanding it, that's a level of maturity and immaturity.
I want to go so deep in this, but I know my man's got to go. So before he leaves, I told you we're gonna have you back, Jamari. I figured out. I don't know if you heard, but I figured out our next round.
I did hear that part. I heard that.
I'm gonna make that happen within it. I'm looking at the schedule. We are God bless, but we are booked through midway September. So we're gonna try and do it towards the end of September. But as we do on every show, if you've watched it before, this is your first time, we do our top 5 lists, paying homage to my original podcast. I know we were just starting to go. I knew if I had known that he was going to be, you had to leave at 9:30, I would have. Anyway, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to give Trevor a topic, and he's going to give me his top 5 in no particular order. He don't know this topic. He has no idea. So, and then we're all going to give our topic too. This one is a hard one. This one is hard because I still can't figure it out in my head right now. You ready?
You top 5 in no particular order?
No particular order. You ready?
Ready.
Top 5 black movies all time.
Oh, that's easy.
We got a time frame. Last 30 years. What?
All time.
5 Heartbeats, Last Dragon, black movies. Black Panther. Does that count as a black movie?
Yeah.
Coming to America, Harlem Nights.
That's it. That's 5. Jamari, you got your 5 already?
Dude,
So the
my
first
I
five.
could take the same 5 and then change it in two
Well,
minutes.
give me 5. We ain't got that much time. Give me 5.
Panther, the original best man.
What happened?
Huh?
Trevor? What'd you say?
I'm wild. Malcolm X. You gotta put that in there.
Nah, you
I'm
can't
actually
do
gonna throw
5,
Malcolm
man.
X
Come
in
on,
my
man.
mix.
You got to take one out. Who you taking out?
I'll take Black Panther out. I'll take Black Panther out.
Nope.
And put Malcolm X out.
Wow.
Go ahead,
Woo.
Jamari. Wait, give me your 5 again.
Making
Give me your 5 again. Give me your 5 again.
Last Dragon, 5 Heartbeats, Malcolm X. What else I say?
He said Coming to America.
Coming to America, Harlem Nights.
Okay. Jamari. All right, Jamari, what's yours?
So I said Black Panther.
Uh-huh.
I said best man. I am definitely putting Malcolm X in there because that's one of the few movies that has ever made me shed a tear.
Okay. Come on, 2 more.
Django. So
Django?
I'm gonna throw Django in. Look, whenever I see that man
that a
whoop the
black
hell out of
movie?
somebody, I love that. I love that
All
story.
right. Okay. All right.
So that's 4.
That's 4. You got one more.
I'm gonna go with Coming to America.
Okay. All right.
I told you that shit, my list could change 5 different ways on Sunday.
Let me see. So I gotta go with The Best Man. To me, that's like one of that's top 2.
It's really
I gotta go Malcolm X. I gotta go Malcolm X. What did I say? Best Man, Malcolm X. I gotta go Black Panther. I literally just argued this for like 3 hours on Tuesday, so I gotta put Black Panther in there. I gotta do Coming to America. Number 5.
I don't know how y'all got The Best Man on there, but okay.
The Best Man is a classic black film, dude. What are you talking about?
I could live without it.
It's
I
more of a classic.
I could go my whole life.
It's more of a classic than The Last Dragon.
You crazy, Bruce Leroy?
You crazy?
Timeless.
I didn't say it wasn't timeless, but people rewatch Best Man. I would bet money people rewatch Best Man more than they rewatch The Last Dragon. All right, what's my last one? What's my last one? Okay. This one might be just a little bit controversial, but I love this movie. I do. Boomerang.
So I'm gonna say this: if I would put Boomerang on a list, I would take The Best Man out.
Oh, you crazy?
I
think Best Man is better.
I feel like they serve the same purpose.
How?
Both are great. I like both of them. I'm not complaining about either one.
I mean, I like The Last. Don't get me wrong. I love The Last Dragon. I watched it like 3 months ago, but to me, it's very niche. Like it's niche, whatever.
Hold on. Did I say Last Dragon?
No, you said Best Man. You said
okay. I
take
just want to make
Boomerang
sure
out
I
the
didn't
Best
miss.
Man.
So, okay.
But who do you have that I don't have on my list? Who did you have?
Our list.
We had the same list up except for one. I don't put Harlem.
Boomerang.
Boomerang. Oh, I don't have Harlem Nights on my list because I have Coming to America on my list.
Yeah,
you gotta have both. Those are classics.
I'm not going to argue against
Harlem Nights' level of comedy is you'll never duplicate that. You'll never see that many legends of comedy in one movie.
Who's Facebook user?
Ever again?
Who is that? Who's Facebook user?
That's Sagacity.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's Sagacity.
I mean, I have a favorite that I didn't put on, which is The Wood. I love The Wood, man. I love it.
You like them easy person. I would rather you say the Jackson 5 over any of those movies.
Honestly, I like the 5 Heartbeats. I love the 5 Heartbeats. But if I would put the Temptations over that because Temptations to me was a better film. Ain't nobody come to see
like
you,
both
Otis. All right, man.
Good movie.
Well, we want to thank you for coming on, man. We definitely gonna have you on when we do our entrepreneur roundtable. I'm gonna get it done. We gonna work it up. But thank you. Everybody, be on the lookout. Tell people where they can reach you.
All right, you can catch me on Facebook, Jabari Mbaku. You can go on my Instagram page, Trev_Ignite. Once I get my website back up and running, I'll have it all over my social media content. For now, if you got a son, ages 6 to 14, you want him to play some Pop Warner football, bring him out to the Bloomfield Junior Warhawks. We're doing registration tomorrow at Bloomfield Carmody Race. You can register www.bloomfieldjuniorwarhawks.com. We just merged organizations, so we did the right thing. We brought 2 football organizations together, one town, one team, in the state of in the town of Bloomfield. So we're trying to do some big things in sports for our youth, for cheers for the young ladies, football for the young men, and it's going to be a great thing for the town of Bloomfield. So again, if you got a young man that you want mentored, my fraternity brother is going to be involved in the mentorship process, because again, it's not about just sports. We want to raise future kings through education, make them community aware, so that that's a dope picture. There's a lot of history behind that picture, and I will explain it on a later date. But yeah, for those of y'all that don't know, I'm a member of Phi Beta Sigma fraternity.
I was gonna get into that too, but we got into so much good conversation, man. But we're gonna do it again. We're gonna have you on again. Next time you have an event, holla at me. Give me enough time. We'll put you on the schedule. We'll get you on.
All right, no doubt.
Next week, everybody, we have acclaimed writer, creator, William Sattersight. I'm looking forward to that. Also, like I said, I'll be at Terrificon this weekend. As soon as I get off the phone, I got to go pack and get ready. Y'all enjoy y'all week. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by for some creative talk with creative people. And y'all have a great weekend. Take care.